So Highland Noise Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
It's a Throwback Thursday, record on a Thursday, posted on a Monday.
See, we still got it.
We still got it. I didn't fuck the intro up this time. Didn't make the final cut of the last one, but I'm embarrassed to say how many times I fucked up the intro.
It was like twice, because you thought you fucked up, but you got it right, and then you fucked it up, and you're like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
That's not right. And then I was like, all right, fine, I had it right originally, and you're like, you had it right the whole time. I don't know what you were doing. Glory just lets me cook.
Go sometimes.
Glory just lets me cook most of the time, whether it's with gasoline or with fire or with
whatever,
water,
flint and steel.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She just lets me go for it sometimes, which I appreciate. We are wrapping up our Sleeping with Sirens discography review with the last record. Big disclaimer on this one, before anybody comments, I do it every time we chat about a very recent record. The name of the series is Throwback Reviews. I know the record only came out in 2022. That's 3 years ago. This is their most recent record. I'm aware of that. We are aware of that. We know it is the name of the series. So with that being said, we were chatting about the 2022 album Complete Collapse. We've reviewed this album on the channel previously when it came out. We were doing the podcast at this point, but there's no formal review on the channel, hence why we are going back and revisiting it. It has been a few years. I spent a lot of time with this record when this album came out in 2022. I went and saw the tour. I remember texting Glory about Don Broco then.
Yes!
And this was before Glory was insane about Don Broco. She tried to delay the taping of this review because Don Broco posted a reel.
They did.
And I had texted her and told her how cool the band was. So I just want to say I was in first. And that is all. But yeah. This record is exactly what the band needed to continue to do off the back of How It Feels to Be Lost. How It Feels to Be Lost is kind of, is my favorite Sleeping with Sirens record. It's where I feel the band finally kind of hits their stride. They spent
20 years
they spent a long time doing the scene thing at the beginning. It was very much like what all the other bands were kind of doing, with a slightly different vocal approach, obviously, because there's really no one else out there that sounds like Kellen Quinn. And then they forgot how to write music for a second and tried to be a pop band. And then they came back to what is a modern, reformed version of what the band was back in the early 2010s. And this is kind of a continuation of that, which I think is exactly what the band needed to kind of just reinforce the fact that they're sticking with this sound, and they are able to competently do this style of music, considering there are records out there, although I love it, where lyrically it might not be the best. So I feel like this was a necessary step for the band to kind of continue to build off of what they started with How It Feels to Be Lost. I love this record pretty much as I love How It Feels to Be Lost, because, like I said, it's basically just a continuation of it sonically, which is not a bad thing. I don't think this is the album for them where they had to go reinvent the wheel. They still, in terms of albums in their discography, are not far away from where they attempted to reinvent themselves and it went over poorly. So kind of just sticking with what we know and love was necessary. They pulled out a lot of stops here with the features, which I appreciate. All of these features, some of them on paper were like, okay, what the fuck? Like,
what's happening here?
Mainly Royal and the Serpent, just because she's like very alt dark pop, which we love Royal here on the channel every time we chat about her. That's probably the most out of left field one. Charlotte Sands could be another one if she didn't already prove, even ahead of this feature, that she could do everything. But if that was before the Under Oath Hallelujah remix kind of thing, it would have been like, all right, what's this pop punk girl doing on the record? But she excels. Obviously, Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath is the obvious, like, holy shit, this is gonna rock.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And then Dorothy on Us, I think that song fits Dorothy very well. She is also she's in the rock world, but more of like the bluesy hard rock kind of side of things. And but I think Us fits her perfectly. I remember talking about how great the features were when we talked about this record when it came out in 2022, and I think that sticks. All the features are great. I remember being very excited when I saw this track list go up and see the feature pulls that this band had, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna rip. The way it opens with Tyrants is just, it's so fucking big. It sets the tone for the album, and it just does exactly what a Sleeping with Sirens opener has to do. It's big, it's aggressive, but then it has that absolutely massive chorus on it that I love, and then goes into the breakdown, and it's the perfect blend of Kellen screaming his head off and then singing and doing what Kellen Quinn does when he sings. Complete Collapse is a great way to follow that up. Crosses, with Spencer from Under Oath. I love that song. I believe it was the lead single. No, Bloody Knuckles was. I think Crosses was the one that announced the record. And I remember shitting myself when that song came out, and it holds true now. That song absolutely rips. Family Tree is one of my favorites off the record. It's so fucking bouncy. I love
bouncy. I'll give it, yeah.
I love when Sleeping with Sirens has a little bounce to them. I really appreciate that about them. A little bit of dynamics in the sonics, if you will. Mr. Nice Guy, I also really like that song, kind of for a similar reason. It's a little bit more on, like, I guess, written more like a pop song than a majority of this record, but it's got a chorus on it. It's not super heavy. There's plenty of super heavy moments on this record, but it's not super heavy, and it's fun, which I like when Sleeping with Sirens has fun. Again, why I like Feel, even if lyrically that album is terrible. I love that. Just keep ripping on it. We've been several weeks removed from that review, and just keep ripping on the lyricism on that album. Grave is the classic Sleeping with Sirens slow ballad closer, and they excel at that always. Kellen Quinn is a phenomenal vocalist, and it really shines when the band strips it back and does one slow song versus trying to do an album full of them. Not shout out gossip.
Anti shout
out. I love Let You Down. I love Control Alt Delete, Bloody Knuckles. I could name all the songs on this record as favorites. I think it flows really well track list wise. And I got nothing but great things to say about this album. I love the modern era of Sleeping with Sirens the most of all. Like, I feel like you can kind of split the current at the time of this recording, which is August 7th, 2025. Sleeping with Sirens has 3 kind of moments in the discography, the early 2010s, where they get a little fucking weird and try to be a pop band, and then like also like an indie acoustic band, like that era of the band, and then the modern take on Sleeping with Sirens that's got some elements of early 2010s and then the obvious modern elements of heavy music. And I appreciate the third iteration of the band and wherever they're gonna go from here, because I'm sure we're due for an album at some point. It's been 3 years.
I'm sure it's like right around the corner, and then we're just gonna add on to it like immediately. No, this is honestly like my favorite Sleeping with Sirens record that we've covered, and it is their most recent one. So it shows that bands, even older bands, I say that I thought they were around since the early 2000s. It's only 2010 is when they started. So surprise, even though we've been, we've been saying the years that the albums were released at the beginning of every single episode, but I'm still like, nah, they're like early 2000s, right? No, 2010. So it shows that even like 12 years into a band, you could still evolve, you could still change, you could still get a little bit weird, but they're so back, Like there were moments in the discography, like pretty much a majority of all of this discography except the last 2 and the first record ever, where I was like, is this band good? Is this the first like overrated band? No. I think that they brought it back. This is kind of what I wanted Sleeping with Sirens to sound like this entire time. I believe Tyrants is an incredible opener. I do like the title track. The Spencer Chamberlain feature is absolutely phenomenal. I think he's a great vocalist. I think he's always a great addition to whatever album he is on. He was on the Scary Kids record, and that was one of our favorite tracks off of it. So I think honestly, he just adds a bit of pizzazz wherever he goes. Shout out Spencer Chamberlain. I wasn't the biggest fan of Family Tree. I don't know. They had a couple corny songs on here, but as I said, when you have your grandfather in to have a corny song or two if you've been a band since like 2010. They're just now hitting the line, but it's like early 2000s to 2010, I feel like is the pocket where it's like, okay, you grew up and you blossomed in that era. You can it's like in your blood to make like a corny fucking song. They had two of them. So, Family Tree, I think it's bouncy. I think it's fun. So honestly, the lyrics and stuff didn't really fuck it up for me at all. Um I loved the Charlotte Sands feature actually. Anything she touches, I think is just absolutely fucking phenomenal. She did like a fucking EDM track. She did the Under Oath feature. She's done so many fucking things and she is just a powerhouse. She is the future of alternative music in my eyes. Royal and the Serpent, I believe her kind of like dark, dreary siren core vocals worked very well with Kellen's vocals. I was seeing a lot of similarities with their vocal style as well as the feature was going on. I was like, oh shit, this actually makes more sense now that I'm listening to it versus seeing it on paper, which is the point you were making earlier. Um, I liked Us featuring Dorothy. It wasn't my favorite track, but I thought it was fine. I wasn't
Yeah.
mad at it. Control Delete was good. Bloody Knuckles was okay. Mr. Nice Guy was the corny fucking track off the
Of course, I
record.
like the two corny songs.
So corny. I put it on and I was like, fuck, dude. We were so close. I was cool just one and done because as I said, Family Tree, redeemable, bouncy, fun. I was like, okay, I'll let this slide. Nothing redeemable from Mr. Nice Guy. It was just cornball central. It was like Bring Me the Horizon's Throne. It was like fucking whatever the hell
Falling in
motion
reverse. Falling in reverse is bad
discography.
guy.
Yes, yes. Honestly, the entirety of Ronald is like it's all
Just
the same.
cornball central. Just throwing
It's just
cornball.
cornball, and then just throw a fucking dart at anything in Motionless in White's discography. All love. I love their music. They make great music, but it's like they have fun with it. I loved Apathetic. I'm surprised you didn't bring that one up specifically to shout out because I believe it's like the heaviest song off the record, in my opinion. I think it's fucking insane. And it's like one of the least streamed songs off of it as well, which is so confusing because this is the best song on the album. And Grave is beautiful. I mean, the guitar licks off of it and just the overall tone of it, I think it's nail on the head with just what Sleeping with Sirens always tries to do with their kind of slower closer tracks. Fucking beautiful. I really like this record. I have nothing bad to say about it.
That's
Except the
great to hear.
Cornball Central, but I mean they earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Well, this officially wraps up our Sleeping with Science discography dive. Stay tuned. We're going to be diving into more bands. The series is not ending anytime soon. We're having fun doing it, so we're going to keep doing it. But all of the previous reviews for the Sleeping with Science discography are all linked down below. So if you want to hear our opinions on the rest of the albums, you can go check those out. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. Audio streaming services are all Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. It helps us out a ton. It's the only place we post these throwback reviews. And if you want to know what band we're going to do next, you're going to have to subscribe to find out.
Exactly. Because who knows?
Who knows? It's in God's hands.
God's
other
plan.
Maybe it'd be Drake. Who knows?
Oh my God, no. No.
Well, other than that, I have been Shane.
I've been Glory.
And we've been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.